Welcome, everyone, back to another brand new episode of Let's Talk Broncos. I'm Brie Maestas here with Zach Seegers and Joey Richards. Guys, how are you?
I'm doing good. Lighter day. My dog messed up his leg, so I had to take him to the vet, which sucked. But he's fine. He's absolutely okay, which was good news. A lot of the time, he's just like, I don't know. He's a baby, so if he hurts something, he's just afraid to try it. And then I put the collar on him to go to the vet, and now he's walking on all four when he just couldn't move for like a whole day and a half. So nothing's really wrong with him, which was really good. and then, yeah, just a whirlwind of a day. But I'm here. I'm ready to talk Broncos. We're gonna go to dinner afterwards, which is gonna be a really good time. So yeah, Zach, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to be here doing this show. Excited to hear, covering the NFL and everything. The great news around Damar Hamlin. That's fantastic. Jim Harbaugh seems to be trending in the right direction. The Broncos are favored this week now by Vegas. Things are trending up, folks. It's a good time to be a Broncos fan. In 2023, it's a new year, folks. Super Bowl, here we come.
What have I told you time after time about tempering your expectations? We're not doing this again. We are in the Kubler-Ross graph of grief where we are now reaching acceptance. And I think that is an acceptable place to be. I don't want to be anywhere else. And what I want to do is get this season out of the way. I will miss doing these daily pods with everyone, but don't worry, we'll be back. And we're not really going anywhere. Let's Talk Broncos will be with you through the off season as we cover just about everything. The coaching search is going to be crazy. The off season is going to be crazy. But Zach, I really appreciate you bringing that up because we did not have the ability to kind of accurately make a statement on Damar Hamlin when it happened. But obviously, I think we were all very much so stunned beyond belief when it did happen. It's taken a lot of us a bit of time to come to terms with it. We want to just obviously say how thrilled we are that he's making moves in the right direction. And what a turn of events from what looked like the absolute worst case scenario to there being good news to come out of this as far as him doing well beyond all measures. So, Zach, you're muted. Sorry.
About as good as it could be going. Like it's going really, it seems, all the news we're hearing is the right news. So that's optimistic. And yeah, credit to the medical personnel for being right there and managing it really, really quick. And to everyone who gave money, and to the players and coaches who shut that game down and stopped it from continuing. And then also to the league. I think they came up with like solid solutions. I won't credit the league often, but I think they came up with like solid playoff seeding solution, which is like the least important thing. But that are like fair and aren't punishing anyone for like this really tragic incident. So I think everyone kind of made the best they could out of a really nasty situation, and good on everyone.
Yeah, I mean, that happened right when we were recording, right? I remember Bree got right off and told us, and then it turned into like the whole thing that it turned into. But what it just like a sad event. And there's certain injuries that always have like really put the whole thing in perspective for me, right? And that was one of them. Like, this is a very scary sport. It's a very, very scary sport. And it was just another reminder of that. And I'm glad he's doing okay. And yeah, it's this league is bonkers. I don't know. It's hard for me to put in words exactly what I want to say, but I'm just very happy he's doing well.
Thank you both. I think that's why we took a second before we made a statement regarding the fact, and want to thank everyone just for their continued support surrounding all of that. It's just been nice to see everyone kind of come together, given the circumstances. I don't want to carry on too much longer. I am waiting for people to hop in the chat. If you would like to interact with the show, join the discussion. This is a bold predictions episode, the last one of the season, last chance to get featured for your bold predictions, and we'll either take or leave your bet. We're going to get here started start in just a moment. Go on over to Mile High Sports YouTube or Facebook to get your comments in. I'd love to react to them because I have a ton of fun during these episodes, and we will jump right into it. Guys, last game of the season. I know we're all super excited about it. But there's a possibility that the Chargers could rest their starters. I had read that they were anticipating waiting until the results of the 11 a.m. game prior to making that call, which seems to really come down to the wire. What that tells me, at least in the idea that probably not going to see a whole lot of Justin Herbert, if at all. There's probably not plans surrounding that. But if they do, I think we have some predictions that circle around that. Firstly, though, I want to start with Joey. Joey, you went in a direction I wasn't anticipating. Talk to me about it.
Chase Edmonds, he will have over 80 all-purpose yards. I think Latavius Murray, we know what Latavius Murray is. We know exactly what he is. He has gotten his fair share of reps as a Broncos running back at this point. And if you're a team that's focusing on next year, focus on a guy that I think will be gone, but is still part of the team technically. Like, his contract runs through next year. Chase Edmonds, I want to see him get more. Like, the first game he was back in that Rams, 5 yards a carry. Last week, I think had almost 40 yards receiving, It wasn't there. It was 70-something yards total. But I want to see more of it, and I think we will. I think he's been efficient. He's done well, and he brings a different dimension than what we've seen with Latavius Murray. He's more agile. He can cut. He can catch really well. He does a lot. He has a lot more versatility to his game than a Latavius Murray does, and honestly, it's not even really close. So I think that he is going to be more involved in this game, and I think that's going to lead to him having 80 all-purpose yards or above. What do you guys make of that? Do you guys agree? Do you disagree? Are you going to take my bet or are you not?
I am going to take that bet. I'm going to fade Chase Edmonds. I think I agree with a lot of what you said. But, and it's a big but, I like he's going to be more incorporated in the offense. He's a nice compliment to Latavius Murray. He does things Murray doesn't do. He might even be the lead back this week. He looked awesome last week. But in 69 career games, he has crossed that 80 all-purpose yards mark just 7 times, 10% of the time, which is not very frequently. And most of those were early in his career in Arizona, where he was like the clear lead back. I don't think he is the clear lead back right now. I do think Latavius Murray will steal enough of his production. And then also the sneaky thing about the Cliff Kingsbury Cardinals, they've had really productive run games. This Broncos rushing attack has been miserable all season long. I think that's going to hurt Chase Edmonds' chances. And the Chargers, you're seeing them starting to deploy Kenneth Murray a lot better. He's been a lot more productive in recent weeks. I think he'll help stifle some of this if he plays, because he'd be the type of not super high value player that maybe they're not sitting. I'm going to take that bet, Joey.
Okay. Bree, are you going to take my bet? I'll respond after this. I'm hoping you do. So I then have two to my disposal. But Bree, go ahead.
So you can disparage me live on the Let's Talk Broncos.
You in.
I know.
He's thrown the hook out there.
Well, now I'm going to take the bet. What my idea of how this game turns out is that not one person is truly going to shine offensively for the Denver Broncos. I think that it's going to be so spread around. I'm even anticipating probably Albert O having a big game or a bigger role here with this offense to end the year, just because I see that's how this game is going to flesh itself out. So I'm taking the bet, Joey. What's your rebuttal to that?
Well, Zach mentioned, like, early in his career, he was a little bit of the lead back, but I don't think he's ever played on an offense that's just beaten up and doesn't have options like the Broncos do. I think in a lot of times, he's going to be one of your better receivers on the field and the best running back on the field. Like when I say they're probably, if he does get that more increased role, the Broncos want to see what he looks like for next year, because he is part of the team right now going next year. That's certainly last game, doesn't matter. Let's see if he can fill a little bit of a void. He's a good pass catcher. I think that, it really only takes one play to really offset this entire thing. And if you guys think the Broncos are gaining any yards in this game at all, like maybe you guys don't, but I think some of it could come by Chase Edmonds. You look at the first game, 5 yards a carry when he came back. This last game played really good, almost had 80 all-purpose yards with only getting like 8 carries. I just see it. I think it's a pretty good possibility, guys.
I think it's kind of high. Just go ahead, Zach.
Yeah, I like it. I like the prediction. I'm definitely going to fade it. I've got to say, if they keep Edmonds for next season, and I know they're evaluating him and Broncos fans are excited about him, like
I agree.
I'm not excited about that idea at a $6 million cap hit. Like he was not good for the Dolphins early in the season, and Mike McDaniel knows how to utilize talent, knows how to drop a good run game. And they
but he's
went,
been better here.
This contract looks ugly. He's been the best running back in a depleted running back. He's been the best running back. Maybe we've seen it for like one game where he got like 70 all-purpose yards, right? There was one game where he got 70 all-purpose yards, and he kind of looked like the best running back out of a bunch of practice squatters. Like the bar is very low, and we're talking about $6 million next year. Like that's a huge leap. If they bring him back, I'm open to it. It should not be on this contract. You cut him, you renegotiate, because the reason the Dolphins so badly wanted to offload him and threw him into that trade for nothing was because they didn't want that contract. They went, ew, this contract is an albatross all of a sudden. Let's offload it on the Broncos. You can't bring him back on that contract.
I wasn't even thinking about the contract when I was trying to stick up for Chase Edmonds. I think that, yeah, if you can get him at a lower price, do it. But I think he needs to be a part of this roster heading into next year. He's done his job as running back for this Denver Broncos team. So I am on a board. And since we have to fight about running backs,
this is our new running back
one. This is our new one that we're picking up. Head in. If you like the conversation here, Let's Talk Broncos community, start to chime in. We are here for you. Robert Armstrong is doing the same thing. Hello, everyone from over on Facebook. Robert, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Christopher Hart is saying, no, absolutely not. Blowing up the chat. Doesn't want us to fight about running backs or doesn't like Chase Edmonds. I'm not sure.
I think
that's not my...
Maybe both.
Okay. All right. Well, that's fair. Let's move on. Zach, what is your bold prediction for Sunday?
Ooh. Well, I had another one, which I'll mention, but it just felt so negative to me. Ooh, I was worried about the legs working there, and it turned out nicely.
This is a curveball, folks, just so everyone knows. This is a curveball. This one's coming out of nowhere.
I changed it at the last second. I was originally going to go with the Chargers rest their starters because that's still up in the air right now. That'd be kind of predicting a Bengals win in there as well. Get a little parlay action kind of in a sneaky way. But the Chargers rest their starters, and the Chargers still managed to beat the Broncos. But that felt like such a depressing bold prediction, and I don't really strongly believe that one. So I'm going to go with this one because I don't really strongly believe this one, but at least it's happy and positive. It makes me feel good. Patrick Surtain, I think, has played some of his best games against the Chargers. Of course, there was the famous one in Denver where he had the 2 interceptions, including the pick 6, that this is a snag from this photo here on screen. But in LA, I think it was last year, it might have been the start of this year, he has a crazy good game locking down Keenan Allen, has an awesome breakup in the end zone to save a touchdown. That was just like a pitch perfect play. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Patrick Surtain. He's just, I don't know, he seems to turn it on against the Chargers. I cut myself off. I'm a big fan of Patrick Surtain against the Chargers. He seems to turn it on in this divisional matchup in particular. He's got 2 interceptions on the season. He had 4 his rookie year. Some of that's the lack of targets. And I want to see him make a bit of a all-pro push. I think he's got a good chance of making first or second team all-pro, but I think the second Adams performance and that DJ Moore performance are going to hurt his standing there. If in this final game, in a bit of an island spot with a lot of people watching, if he has an awesome performance, it'll be the last thing in voters' minds, and maybe it can get him to the all-pro team.
It's all fine and dandy, but Patrick Surtain kind of has Justin Herbert's number. I'm all in on it. I'm saying it absolutely does happen. Not only because I want to see it happen, but because I think there's a pretty decent chance that he knows exactly how to bait Herbert if Herbert plays. So, yeah, I think if Justin Herbert's the quarterback, you can basically scratch that into stone. Robert Armstrong says, I want to see a Simmons pick 6. That would also be
We all would.
super exciting. Cal is questioning whether or not Zach means this one. So Zach doesn't believe this?
No, I was about to type out a response to that. So I do believe it. I just like there is an inherent flukiness to turnovers, and who that turnover goes to, even if there is a turnover. And so I think this would definitely be like a Patrick Surtain interception would probably be like plus 500. So like plus 500 is maybe conservative on an odd estimate. So like I understand it's like kind of unlikely, but I believe in it for all the reasons I listed. I do think it has a good chance of happening.
Joey,
I am taking this 1,000%. I as much as I'd like to see Patrick Surtain get a pick, betting on it is a little nuts. That's it. That's all I'm gonna say. Betting on it, like if this is a bet, like over under on Patrick Surtain interceptions, and then it just won. I mean, it's a banging the under all day. Like I'm not putting my money on anybody getting a turnover. Now, the Broncos team as a whole, I would, but any single player, because Zach, you made my point earlier. I mean, you kind of made the point against it as well. There is some flukiness to turnovers and who the turnover goes to, and it's just like an impossible thing to predict. So I'm taking this for sure.
I'm just that good, Joey. What can I say? I'm just that good.
Oh my God, what have you done?
The other thing, the Broncos defense has been creating tons of turnovers recently. The pressure hasn't been there, but they've seen that run lately. There's a flukiness to that, but I do think you see turnovers come in bunches, sacks come in bunches and whatnot. And I think that'll continue this week.
Awesome. Samuel Castro had a addition to, I think, Joey's pick as well. I think Marlon Mack showed some upside. What do you guys think? How do you guys feel about Marlon Mack?
He's not like the worst. Like having him on the practice squad was great. Like I don't mind that whatsoever. I think if you are planning for him to get real life like NFL snaps in game, I wouldn't be a big fan. But I mean, he is a guy that was like productive when he was in Indianapolis. It was just injuries have derailed him completely. I don't think you can really bank on him at this point with all the injuries. And then as running backs age, it's harder to predict like what they're going to do the next year every single time, especially when you have one that's as injured as Marlon Mack has been. So it's hard for me to put many eggs in that basket. Despite him, he does look like okay. I do think he's okay, but I don't know. I would like to keep him around as a practice squad player if the Broncos can, or as like a way down the line guy. But I don't love him as projected actually seeing snaps, I guess is how I would say.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. He had a few nice plays, but and it's tough because the Broncos need to rebuild their whole running back room. Only guy they have under contract. Well, I guess they have Chase Edmonds now. But I kind of don't consider that because at that cap number, I'd be really surprised if they don't tinker with that. But Chase Edmonds and Javonte Williams, and we've talked a lot about the uncertainty around Javonte Williams going into next season. So yeah, it's like you can make an argument for keeping these guys around just because I think the Broncos need them. And how many assets do you want to throw at running backs? But like, look at the Texans running back room. They had Marlon Mack on their practice squad. Look at the 49ers and all the injuries they went through this season at running back and how desperate they were for a running back. And through all that, Marlon Mack remained on their practice squad. And bad injuries. Like there's just, I think I would love him as a camp body. The Broncos, I think, need to cast a really wide net at the running back position. I hope they bring in a lot of undrafted free agents. I hope they spend a late round draft pick. I hope maybe even they sign a known commodity in free agency, or maybe instead of a free agent and a late round draft pick, it's like a early draft pick, like one of their third round picks or something on a more touted prospect, like a Charbonnet or something like that. But I don't know. I think you can do better than Marlon Mack. I think like part of the reason people say running backs don't matter isn't because there aren't a lot of good running backs out there. It's the opposite. There's tons of good running backs out there. Look at Broncos fans liking Marlon Mack, liking Chase Edmonds, liking Latavius Murray, all guys the Broncos found on other teams' scrap heap that teams were looking to discard. And the Broncos found these guys, and now Broncos fans are like, let's keep them around. That's a testament to how many good running backs are out there. And I do feel like the Broncos could upgrade on really all of them.
All right. Christopher Hart, I don't know if he's trolling me or not, says Greg Dulcich gets a big TD this game. Greg Dulcich is on the IR, so I don't foresee that happening. So I'm going to take you up on that bet, Christopher Hart. Robert Armstrong says Russ will have 3 touchdowns. I'm not falling for it, Robbie. It's just not happening. Do you mean 3 touchdowns on his own? He scores all 3 of them?
Touchdowns. Well, passing, right? That could count.
Yeah, it would be
passing, 1 rushing. He could do different things there. 2 rushing, 1 passing. Yeah, it's possible. I would take this bet. It's a good bold prediction. I would take it. But is it impossible? I don't think it's impossible. I don't at all.
Yeah, I think that's fair. He also follows Christopher Hart says draft 2 running backs. Two running backs in the draft or we riot. Joey and Frankie will be covering the draft prospects here for Let's Talk Broncos over on Let's Talk Drafts. And you can watch that every single Thursday here on the Let's Talk Broncos network. So make sure that you're subscribing. Make sure you're finding us over on the YouTube and the Facebook and Twitter. And so you can set notifications for when we go live over there, because it's just like this show, except you get Joey and Frankie talking all things draft. I think that's a pretty fantastic show to catch on. Coop has hopped in. I'm hammering the under on that 3 TD bet. Coop, that's where I'm falling right now. I think that's pretty accurate. Cool. Continue to send through all of the bold predictions that you have. I'm going to get to mine. I did go the negative route. Zach pulled a switcheroony on me. So his is no longer the negative one. Broncos set the record for the most 1-score losses in an NFL season. And the reason that I'm going this direction is because the Broncos have found a way to find every negative statistic that they could beat. And they've done so this year. This year has categorically been one of the worst seasons that I've had the honor of witnessing as a Denver Broncos fan. And I think why not just put the cherry on top? They miss it by a field goal. And it just really ends the season on a high note. I will be there at Mile High and I will be cheering. I just don't know what I'm exactly expecting out of this one. So yeah, 10 is the record here. So they would set the record by achieving this next 1-score loss.
I think it's perfect. I think you're dead on, so I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to roll with you. I think they probably lose this game close. And I think you look at 1-score losses and you're like, man, that's a great sign for this team to progress and get a lot better. And it can be, but not necessarily. You look at the 2019 Chargers. They're the team that the Broncos are currently tied with for this record with 9 1-score losses. 2019 Chargers, I think they go 6-10, 7-9, something like that. They end up drafting, or they're worse than that. I think they were maybe 5-11, 6-10. They draft Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert has statistically the best rookie season we've ever seen from a quarterback. And they go 7-9 the next year. So although 1-score losses can mean like you're going to progress, not necessarily, because the Chargers had those 9 1-score losses, added Justin Herbert to the roster, and still finished 7-9.
Bree, I'm taking your bet. Now, there's no logic in this whatsoever. There's literally none. There's literally none at all. My idea here is just that, like, how many times can this Broncos team just rip our heart out? Is it possible? Like, I don't think it. Like, it. I don't. I have to take it because it's NFL record. Like, I can't just be betting on NFL records. You know what I mean? I have to like take you up on this. Could you imagine? I don't know. I have to take you up on this just because it doesn't feel like the Broncos should rip my heart out again. I'm not going to root for it. I refuse to root for it in any capacity. I understand your strategy, though, Bree. Like, oh, hey, at least if the Broncos lose by one, lose by one score. I won my bet. It's a good strategy. I respect it, but I am going to have to take it. I have to. I can't root for it.
I like it. I like the philosophy there, not rooting for the loss.
I can't do it. If we lose, I'd rather lose by 40. I'll be honest. What is your guys' opinion on that? Would you guys rather set the record for one score losses or lose by 40?
Man, you get this far into the season, it starts getting chilly. You're tired. You don't even know what you're doing with your life. And then you get blown out by 40. Ugh. To a division rival?
Send of us. I mean, it would suck. It would definitely suck. I can't do another 2-minute drive I can't do another game where we're just losing by this much. I can't do it anymore. It's driving me insane. Can't do it.
Can I throw out a bonus prediction really quick?
Yeah, what's your bonus prediction, Zach?
Geno Smith, 151 passing yards.
Wait, like exactly? Like he can't go
151 or more, at least 151.
Okay, I was about to say, like, this is the craziest bold prediction we've ever had.
It doesn't seem all that bold, and it seems out of nowhere. Do you guys know why I'm going with this?
No, quit playing games. Tell me, spit it out.
151 more passing yards, Geno Smith will own the Seattle Seahawks franchise record for passing yards in a single season.
All right, y'all are getting depressing on here, really. Like, really. It's ridiculous. It's out of control.
That's what I'm betting. I'm taking 151 Geno Smith passing yards. Now, is that because of the 17th extra game? Yes. But still, he's just 150 yards behind the record in his first season starting. Watch out, Russ. He's coming for all your Seahawks records.
That's crazy. I didn't know it was like that.
He also became the third Seahawks quarterback in franchise history to throw for 30 touchdowns in a season. Russ and Dave Craig are the others.
Okay, well, Zach, I don't think it's that bold for him to have 151 passing yards, so I'm not taking your bonus bet. Trying to get another one in is a little outrageous, I have to say. I feel like you're cheating the system a little bit here, but I'm not taking it, so it doesn't matter.
And that's fine. I'm saying 151 and a touchdown because I'm wrong. He needs one more to join that club of the 30-plus touchdowns. He's at 29 right now, so that's what I'm going with. 151 and a touchdown, at least.
I don't have anything to add to that. Samuel Castro said, Bree, you broke my heart with your prediction, but it could be so true. No, I know. It hurt my feelings too. I have a tendency to just go in that direction. It's not what I want to see. It's not like I'm rooting for it, but honestly, it just would fit this season. But that means, and this is the acceptance part, Broncos country, it's got to get better, right? Like that's what we're all hoping for. I'm done crying over this season though. I can't do it. Or maybe I'll save it all up and I'll schedule a nice shower cry on Monday morning to get it all off of my skin and out of my system. We had a Twitter response over from super fan Ron. He gave us a score prediction. I'm going to read it anyways. Broncos 33, Chargers 2. Oh, and he says, not surprised, but likely amused as usual. 33 times 2 equals 66 in respect for Dalton Reisner's 4 years here for the Denver Broncos. Well, that was awful thoughtful of you, Ron. So if you're watching, thank you. And we appreciate you joining along in the reindeer games. We will have plenty of a preview show to give you tomorrow here for Let's Talk Broncos. Today was just bold predictions. So we're still taking them if you want to go ahead and send them in. Cal says Creed and Cry. That is correct. And now he's putting my business out there that I've been listening to Creed lately and maybe crying. So I think it's that time of the night where we get to everyone's favorite part, and that's Joey's question of the day.
It doesn't get tiring. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. This graphic is even more crazy. Everything about this is insane. But Joey's question of the day, off the top of your head, I want rapid fire. In the chat, please join in. Please join in on this. Who is the most random Bronco you could possibly think of right now? Go.
Correll Buckhalter.
Damn, that was mine too. What the hell?
It was?
Man, Joey, that's amazing.
That was literally mine. Go.
Sorry. I'm going to say Taylor, Sunshine.
Okay, Jordan Taylor. Mike Bell. Colton Cooper joins in, says Mike Bell. I'll go with another. Why is it always Chris Sims? Chris Sims. Chris Sims a good one. Lance Ball.
We should clip
Lance Ball.
I'm going to clip him going off on ESPN for our soundboard. That'd be a great one.
Yeah, right.
Sports Center rant.
That'd be good. Lance Ball's a random person I can think of.
Dre Bly.
Dre Bly.
You've got a Dre Bly story.
This is wild. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Mike Adams.
How did you guys come up with the same one? Can you give me why you thought of your first initial reaction?
We have a lot of the same football thoughts. We have the same football thoughts.
I think it's because like the most random person we can think of is that era because we grew up at the same time. And then Corell Buckhalter is just like a random. I don't know why.
He's so random. Man.
It's
stable running backs.
Hey, but join the podcast, Corell Buckhalter.
So weird. Yeah, if you can get him on the show, if he's watching, maybe he enjoys Let's Talk Broncos. Make sure that he hops on in. Guys, where can everybody find your stuff?
Everybody, follow me at JR Drafts. That is my Twitter. Make sure you are following the Let's Talk Broncos on Twitter. And then everybody, please go listen to the Let's Talk Broncos podcast on the Let's Talk Broncos YouTube, as well as the recorded version is over there. And we're trying to grow our YouTube. So make sure you're doing that. Go subscribe over there as well. And then, yeah, we're everywhere. Come kick it in our Discord. We're always talking ball in there. So, yeah, that's all I have. Zach, where can they find your work, man?
Yeah, milehighsports.com and Zach_Seegers on Twitter. Please check out my writing over at Mile High Sports. It's about to go crazy with the end of the season. Just, tons of end of season columns, awards. I'll do a, stock up, stock down for end of season. That is probably going to take me days to write. It's going to be a lot of like nitty gritty, in-depth stuff. I'll probably rank all the coaching candidates at one point, and that'll, once we get all of them, that'll probably be an 11-part piece or something. I'm excited for it. I'm going to go ham in a week here because I'm going to have so much more free time. My articles are about to get crazy. Go over to Mile High Sports to see what I can get away with.
We are not going anywhere. Oh, Sam Castro, you have a great weekend as well. Have some margaritas for me. I really appreciate that. We will be back. I act like we're saying goodbye. We will be back. We're not going anywhere. You'll see us on a really frequent basis. So we'll just have a couple more days of free time. So don't you worry. Let's Talk Broncos isn't going anywhere. But if you miss out on a day and you want to add some more to your schedule, make sure you're tuning in to the Fan Cave 1 to 2 p.m. on Mondays for Mile High Sports Radio, where me and Zach Seegers will be breaking down just about everything. If we're no longer talking about what's happened in the game prior to, what else could we possibly get into? You'll want to tune into that and catch us every single day here with the Let's Talk Broncos crew. We will see you tomorrow, and we'll get some nice preview in before the Chargers game on Sunday. It's been a fun season. Thank you all. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.